Hi guys, Zach here with another Command & Conquer Red Alert video. In this game I'm playing a free-for-all match on the map Rivers Wild. I'm starting in the middle position playing as the Soviets. Now for those of you who don't know this map, it's got a mixture of gems and ore, and the position I'm playing in is very good in terms of access to ore and gems because there's going to be a big ore patch to the right of my base, which is very easy to get to. I guess one of the less advantageous things from my base is that it can be attacked from different angles. The thing is though, the players on the left side of the map are generally closer to each other, so they tend to fight each other first, and the people on the right side of the map tend to fight each other first. So I'm probably in a decent position for the start, and you can see there I'm just getting that ore truck out right next to the gems, and because I'm going to be collecting a lot of gems to start with, that's going to give me a very strong start, and I'm probably going to go for 3 war factories initially before building my second ore refinery. And what that means is you have a very strong middle game because war factories increase tank building speed, and when you collect a lot of gems you can do that. And having those 3 war factories early is going to allow me to produce tanks a little bit more quickly and give me a lot of tanks early on. In order to make this start successful though, I am going to need to build 2 ore trucks, which you've seen me doing there. And now I'm going to just continue to build the 2 other war factories. And it's a free-for-all match, which means that players tend to be a little less aggressive in free-for-all matches, because if they're too aggressive at the start, what can happen is they'll charge out their base, and then once they charge out the base, another player will attack the base and wipe them out while they're fighting. So that's why people tend to be a little bit more passive, and we will be looking to go multi-MCV later in this game, as you probably should do in any free-for-all matches. So now our 2 ore trucks are produced, I'm going to be producing tanks. And yeah, just keep on mining. And then once I've produced my 3rd war factory, I'll be wanting to produce another ore refinery. And you can see my ore situation is actually pretty good at the moment. So that's a bonus. And I'm just making sure I have plenty of power. Because if you fall low on power, then what that does is it reduces your building speed. I'm just building a Tesla coil just in case I do get a light tank attack, because I can see that Nose is close by, and quite often it'll go for maybe 5 light tanks and go for an early attack. So I've sort of like disrupted my build order there, just in case that happened. And you can see me bringing my heavy tanks to the other side of my base, just sort of like getting in the defensive position. And I'm going to also build another service depot, and you can see those light tanks there from Nose. So I was probably right to build that Tesla coil. I'm also building a service depot early as well, just in case he does go for an attack on my... because if he dives my construction yard and that gets taken out, I wouldn't be able to build any more MCVs if I didn't have one of those. So I'm just building an extra one just in case. I'll delete those tanks and I'll start building that second ore refinery, which I would have preferably produced a bit earlier on. What I can see though is I can see that Nose has started in the top right position, and even though I haven't had a perfect build order, what that's done, and you can see he's coming in, and that Tesla coil firing on those light tanks. He's getting a couple of light tanks through, but it looks like those light tanks are going to be wiped out. And that's not gone well for Nose at all. And you just can see how strong those Tesla are against light tanks. And the other thing is Nose started in a position, okay, it was good from a defensive point of view, but that top right position is very bad in terms of accessibility to ore. So he's probably had like a less than ideal start from that. And then he's gone on that attack with not as many troops as he would have liked. And that's what it resulted in him losing some light tanks due to that Tesla. And it just shows that it was important that I produced that Tesla early on. Instead of producing that second ore refinery. Okay, it's made me put me in a much worse position in terms of ore, but if I'd lost that construction yard, I would have been in a worse position than I am in now. And what I'm doing now is I'm just building multiple MCVs and getting more ore refineries down, and what that's going to get me, and then I'm going to get a good economy and be able to produce more tanks. And Noah's selling up there. He sold that construction yard, and it looks like he's sold quite a few buildings there, and we're just destroying that ore refinery just to stop him collecting anything there. And what we can do is we're probably trying to expand into this position of the map as well, in that top right position, because it's a very good place in terms of defence. It's just not the best in terms of ore, but if I've already got a base around that ore patch there, which is very, very large, it's an ideal place to get a second base. And what I'm going to be doing is building a radar dome so I can see what's going on in different parts of the map. Now, it does seem that Noah's does have less units than I thought he would have, so I'm not sure if he did get attacked from the other side. That might have been a possibility. And I'm just scouting out that area because I'm going to be sending an MCV up there right now. And we can still see those 2 tanks in the middle of nowhere, really. If they go near my base, they're going to get hit by that Tesla coil. And I've got loads of tanks there anyway. And I'm just having a look around because we can see that Noah's is not dead at the moment, so he must have some buildings somewhere. Maybe he took off a runaway MCV to build a base somewhere else. But I'm sure we'll find out later on. And now I'm just going to build another Tesla just for a bit more defence. And we can see Cyan there in sort of the middle part of the map. And we're getting a bit of visibility on Blue's base, who appears to have built a lot of rocket troopers. And there we can see Noah's base. So he does actually have a base just nearby. And that's why I'm producing 2 Tesla coils very, very quickly. I do have multiple MCVs now, so I'm able to produce more quickly. And we'll get those 2 Tesla coils out. And we're going to go for an attack with my tanks. Noah's is sort of like sandwiched now between me and that blue base, but I think the player playing in the blue is not being too active. He had rocket troopers, so he's probably not going to have that many tanks at this stage in the game. And now we're going for an attack on Noah's, and it looks like his base is going down. We'll have to see what does he respond with. He just doesn't have the tank numbers, and that's due to where he started and having to move his base. We can see Blue there sending a grenadier in, I think. I don't know quite what he's trying to... I think he's trying to do an attack on Noah's base from the other side. So Noah's has got attacked by 2 people. But what we can see is that Green are coming in from the bottom of the map. So it's essential now that I get back and defend against this attack here. We can see that Green have got a lot of light tanks. But I've got some Tesla there, but Tesla don't work if I don't have enough power. So that was a little bit of a misplay from me there. And I'm just getting some more power plants laid down. Just so that doesn't happen again. But we can see that Green have retreated back now to the base, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this to try and attack them and do a counter, because Green do not have the tank numbers. I've got a lot of heavy tanks. Green just have a number of light tanks, but not as many as I do. And now the attack is going on, and Green not moving those tanks around at all, and that's a really bad idea, because what's going to happen is my tanks are going to get good shots on them, and those Green tanks are going to fall very, very quickly. We can see Noah's is not officially being defeated now. He didn't, because I think that was Blue in the end fighting him. Now we're fighting Green though, and we're going to be able to take out his main buildings now, and there's no way Green is going to be able to come back from this. And this just gives us another place that we can expand to. Fortunately, we do have Blue near our base, but he's not very active, so I don't think we're going to be in too much danger from him. And what I'm going to probably be able to do is get another MCV down to where Green's base is and expand this position and sort of take the ore patches there. And now we're taking out the last buildings from Green. I think these are the last 2 buildings, and Green is officially out of the game. So now there's only 3 players left. There's me, Muscles and Blue left in this match. And I don't want to go on the attack straight away. I want some time really to be able to build up my forces again. I do have 3 war factories, so I will be producing tanks pretty quickly. But you can see my whole situation is not fantastic at this stage in the game. And I'm just grouping those tanks together, getting ready for any defence I might need to make. And I'm going to have more forces like down the bottom of the map, because I think Muscles is more likely to attack me next compared to those in the middle. And we can see Muscles tanks appear to be on the move. Yeah, we can see on our radar there's lots of Cyan tanks moving around the map. I don't know if he was having a fight with Blue and just has pulled away, and we'll have to wait and see. But now I'm getting my tanks together. We can definitely see those Cyan tanks are on the move, and I think they're going to be attacking this position of the map, and indeed they are. So this is a fight between me and Muscles. Muscles is using medium tanks, I'm using heavy tanks, but it does appear from the radar that Muscles does have many more tanks than I do at this stage in the game. So we're going to just hold as much as we can here. We also can hope that Blue do attack Muscles from the other side, hopefully, if they go for a strike on Cyan's base. Muscles definitely has the upper hand in this fight, and it appears that my tanks are going to be destroyed. I'm just trying to pull back with my tanks now, back to my middle base, and hopefully try to build up some forces there. Also in my middle base, what I do have is I have some Tesla coils to provide a bit of support, although those medium tank numbers do seem to be massive, and they are making light work of my outer base, which was in the bottom middle position. And also you can see my ore situation is not that great. I am struggling for ore because I've lost that base down the south where I'd invested in a few ore trucks. I think my ore trucks might have been doing a bit of long distance mining there because of that ore refinery blocking that position. So it's possibly a bit of misplay for me. And Muscles coming from the side I didn't expect. So I have to bring my tanks over there right away. And we've got our Tesla coils working on those medium tanks. But there's a lot of medium tanks there. And he's also sent a nuclear bomb. And that was a pretty good, smart move. Because what that can do, quite often, is it can make the other player low on power. But because I built all those power plants earlier, it didn't quite have that effect. And because I'd have the outer base in the top right position. But what's happening now is I'm getting swarmed by those medium tanks. I'm trying to place Tesla coils down, but it's to no avail. He's just got too many tanks, and I just don't have enough at all. And I am going to get wiped out. And this is bad because that middle position was really my stronghold. And the top right is just more of an outer base. I've also got some base just to the right of the this ore patch, but it's really not a big base. And that's my war factories all gone, so I can't build any more tanks until I build another war factory. And I'm just going to have to pull right back because there's just nothing I can do right at this moment. And I'm just like giving up on that base to the south, just to the middle right of that ore patch, because I'm going to work with this base, because this base at least has a couple of Tesla coils already built there, and I'm building up a couple of war factories to start building some more heavy tanks. And you can see me taking those ore trucks. Well, I'm taking all the ore trucks to this top position. Unit ready. And now we're building those tanks. And I'm just selling that MCV just to get a bit more funds in, because I might be struggling for ore a bit very, very soon. And then my power plants are going down, and I should have actually seen this, and so I'm going to be building more heavy power plants just to get those Tesla coils back online. And we have to see what Muscles is going to do here. Is he going to leave this base in the top right alone? Is he going to go for an attack on Blue? Because those medium tanks, of course, are just too much for me to handle at the moment. Unit ready. And we're managing to get our power back, and that's really good. We can see that Blue's actually got actually mining off that base, and now Cyan Muscles is going for the attack on Blue. And the question is, how many tanks does Blue have? Does Blue have enough to defend? It's not looking too good for him, but if he does whittle down Cyan's tank numbers, it could sort of give like a tiny chance. And what I'm doing here is I'm sending tanks to Muscle's base, because we can see Muscles definitely has the upper hand on blue. It depends on how many Tesla coils or base defenses blue has. And we're just sending as soon as we're building tanks, we're sending them down into Muscle's base, and hopefully we're going to cause a bit of disruption. I think Muscles has noticed though, because we can see that I don't know if that tank's going back, and while we're going for the attack on Muscle's base, we're going to try and build our own base back up a little bit, but we're going for the attack on the ore refineries, and he's built a turret there, so we're going to destroy that as well. And we're going to try, and what we're going to try and do is get rid of his ore refineries and any construction yards that he has. But the thing is, Muscles has realised he's sending tanks back. Now we'll have to see, is Blue going to follow him? Is he going to fight, or is Muscles might have destroyed his whole army for all I know, and he does seem to have some tanks left, quite a lot of tanks left in fact, and this is not looking good at all for me. So maybe that attack was a mistake. Maybe I should have just stayed at my base and try and build back up and build more tanks and a bigger army. But I don't think it would have made too much of a distance, because really Muscles did have a really great economy there. You could see the number of ore trucks he has, and we could see those tanks, those medium tanks, all coming from our base, and I've literally got nothing to defend with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and attack him from the other side and just pray that he doesn't have many buildings left, but I don't think that's going to be the case. And with the number of heavy tanks I've got, it's not looking good at all. Yeah, he's got a massive number of tanks there. And we'll have to wait and see what he's got here. We can see he's got an ore refinery there, which I'll go for an attack on first. It's seen my other tanks having a hard time catching up. And we're going to go for the attack on that ore refinery. And we'll just hope, and what I'm trying to do is also lure him back to his base, because what he'll do is he'll hope he doesn't lose too much, because he still has to fight with blue. So I'm just sort of like hoping that he'll sort of like come back to his base, but it doesn't look like he's going to do that. He's going all in, and now we're going for his construction yard, but he's building a turret there. And he's got 2 construction yards, which it means he can build a little bit faster, but we're going to try and take those 2 construction yards out. And now, yeah, I was wondering if he was going to fight with those medium tanks, but it seems that he's gone away, and I don't know if he's going to have any more construction yards. Now we're going for those war factories. That's going to reduce his tank building speed, and we might also go for that ore refinery as well if we can get to it. But this is going to hurt him in terms of tank building speed. But you can see almost all my buildings are dead. I've got no construction yard, I've got no war factory, I've got no barracks, so I'm not going to be able to produce any more units. And we've taken out that ore refinery, and we'll have to see, is that the last ore refinery? It appears not. He does have ore refineries in other places, because we can see his ore trucks are still moving around, and he's still got a construction yard because he's just built that turret. And I'm out of the game. And I think we can safely see now that Cyan is going to win this. Muscles is going to win this because he's got great tank numbers. He's still got construction yards. He's still got war factory. And he's still got ore refineries. So I can't see him losing this fight. And yeah, you can see those missile launchers are probably not going to be too good, because missile launchers do a lot of damage, but they have very low health, and they will be taken out very quickly. As we can see, Blue's army is destroyed, and I think it's pretty obvious what's going to happen from here. I guess in this game what happened is I got tied up in fights early on. I probably didn't get the ideal build order, so that slowed my build up speed. And I think in the middle of the game I was a bit lax when I should have been producing more ore refineries than I did, when I was fighting green in the mid game. So I just lost too many units early on, didn't build enough, could have done a bit better with my economy. And that's what cost me the game, because in that mid-game we saw how many more tanks Muscles had than I did. And yeah, from then on in, it was just fighting a losing battle. I was hoping Blue could sort of maybe turn it around a little bit if Muscles got attacked from both sides, but in the end it didn't happen. So thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed the video.